Hello everyone, my name is Josh and this is Whimsical and Interesting Musings, and today this one's a little bit more off the cuff because I just finished listening to the song that I'm actually going to do a review on. It's going to be a little different. I'm going to be doing a song this time round instead of a film or a book or anything like that. And I wanted to basically do a song which a lot of people know, and well, if you don't know the song, you've at least heard a rendition of it, and it is called Mack the Knife by Bobby Darin. And Bobby Darin is famous for singing the song, Dream Lover, as well as the song Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is featured in Bioshock, and it's one of my favourite uses of that song ever because it just literally embodies that sense of just absolute. It manages to take a song that's basically about bliss and about falling in love and the fantasy and the love of, just falling in love and having this fantasy of being beyond the sea and being alone, to kind of turning it into a story about isolation, paranoia, and, the idea of basically you're on your own out here beyond the sea and no one's going to save you kind of thing. And that's what I really love. I love that kind of dark comedic use of that song in that particular game. But this is called Mack the Knife, and it's basically about... It originally had its origins in Germany, and it was to do with a opera about a murdered person. And this particular version, by the looks of it, Mack the Knife is supposed to be either the name of a serial killer or the name of that kind of guy who, if you've seen your mob movies, they'll always have characters like Freddy the Fish or something like that, very weird names that they would give characters that were kind of inspired by something that they'd say, like something like twice speak Eric or something like that, like in Goodfellas, where he goes, I'm going to go out to buy you a coffee kind of thing, that kind of character. And it gave you that kind of flair, and of course it gives you that sort of jazzy swing feel. But the lyrics in this song, it sounds very happy and very kind of rumpus, and it gives you that sense of it being like a real swinger kind of thing, like something that you can really dance to. But if you really listen to the lyrics, and I actually had the lyrics on screen while I was listening to the song, it actually is quite dark. So I've got the lyrics here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I am going to basically go through the lyrics of this song and show you that old songs aren't necessarily as light-hearted as you think they are. And I was actually quite shocked. I literally had my jaw open while I was listening to this. So if you listen to the lyrics, these are the lyrics. I've got them up here on my iPad. The lyrics of this song are, oh, the shark babe has such teeth, dear, and it shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old McCath, babe, and it keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark bites with his teeth, babe, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves, oh, where's old McHeath? Heath, babe, so there's nothing, never a trace of red. So basically, it's about a guy who cuts someone's throat and he's wearing black gloves. And so that's immediately ringing alarm bells, like, what's this about? And then on the second section, the second verse, it says, on the sidewalk, ha ha, sunny morning, ha ha, lies a body just oozing life. So it's immediately, going into more grisly details of someone finding a corpse. And someone sneaking round the corner. Could that someone be Mack the Knife? And it gets worse. It gets worse. These two verses are nothing compared to what's coming. But there's even a description of a tugboat, which is why I got the impression that it was kind of like a mob thing, because that's what mobsters do. They take people out into the middle of nowhere and they'll put a bullet in their heads in the movies and they'll throw them with cement shoes. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about if you're a huge fan of mob films like Goodfellas and Casino and things like that. But yeah, there's a tugboat, ha, down by the river, don't you know, where a cement bag's just a drooping on down. Oh, that cement is it's there for the weight, dear. 5 will get you 10, old Mackie's back in town. How did you hear about Louis Miller? He disappeared, babe, and drawing out all his hard-earned cash, and how McKeith spends just like a sailor, could it be our body's done something rash? And I'm going to read the last two. And now Jenny Diver, ho ho, yeah, sulky tawdry, old Miss Lottie Lenner, and old Miss Lucy Brown. Oh, the line forms on the right, babe. Now that Mac's back in town. I said, Jenny Diver, all sooky tawdry, look out to Miss Lottie Lenner and old Lucy Brown. Yes, that line forms on the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town, look out. Old Mackie's back in town. And that really kind of gives you that impression that this is actually quite a dark song. It's about a very dark subject matter. But again, it takes its roots from a Germanic opera. And I have to basically do my research for this. So I'm going to come out of this page. And I'm going to actually try to look up the Wikipedia page that I originally had for this long before I clicked off it. But yeah, this is according to the Wikipedia page, I'll just get it up very quickly. It was inspired by Mac the Knife, or the Ballad of Mac the Knife, de Moritat vol Mackie Missa, which is what the German phrasing of it's called, was composed by Kurt Weill, with lyrics by Bertolt Brecht for their 1928 music drama, the Tenpenny opera, German de Drego or Schopenhauer. My German's a little rusty. I used to study German in school. But it basically is a medieval version of the murder ballad performed by a strolling minstrel in the Tenpenny opera, the Moritat opera, with his street organ, introduces and closes the drama with the tale of the deadly Mackie Messer, or Mac the Knife, a character based on the dashing highwayman McKeith, in John Gay's The Beggar's Opera, who was in turn based on the historical thief Jack Sheppard. The Brecht Weill version of the character was far more cruel and sinister and has been transformed into a modern anti-hero. The play, and then it goes into a lot of detail about the structure of the play, but it's meant to be basically about an infamous serial killer who went around killing people in quite graphic and nasty ways. And it's actually kind of interesting because Bobby Darin, I don't really want to say Darren because that's my dad's name. So, it is actually very weird to hear that it has that kind of history. And there's been various translations over the years. There's been a French translation, there's been an Italian translation of this song. And it was only until Bobby Darin came into the scene with successful songs like Somewhere Beyond the Sea and A Dream Lover that he actually started to, turn this song, which is actually quite dark in its own right, into a swinging sort of, great, good times, let the good times roll kind of number. And it really is good. I mean, it really gets you dancing, and it really makes you feel this euphoric sense of, life just sweeping into your veins. It just feels so good. But then you listen to the lyrics and you think to yourself, I should not be dancing to this or feeling as happy dancing to this song, knowing that the lyrics are about a murderer who kills people in quite graphic and nasty ways. But that's the beauty of what they were able to get away with back then, I suppose, in the 1950s, because this song kind of passed uncensored, according to the Bobby Darin version. And according to this little quote I've got here, it says, Bobby Darin took the song by the scruff of the neck and turned it into the swing classic widely known today. Unlike the Brecht Weill original, which remains in the same key throughout, Darin's version changes key, chromatically no fewer than 5 times, ratcheting up the tension. And that was a quote from the Financial Times on the song Mac the Knife. And it is actually very interesting, and I actually do really kind of think that's what I love about older songs, is they do have this kind of almost darker subtext to them, whereas a lot of songs, they tend to throw all their dirty laundry out at you a lot of the time. Like even though Eminem is a rapper who I dearly respect, just for turning a simple word like orange and make it rhyme with all sorts of different things in a very creative way. A lot of singers now tend to air all their dirty laundry out right then and there, whereas a lot of singers and a lot of songwriters are very clever about it, and they do kind of hide the subtext in plain sight, but they do kind of give you this sense like, we shouldn't be singing and dancing to this. Like, this is actually quite a very dark and very grisly subject matter. But he adds such style to it. It's like with Martin Scorsese with Goodfellas and Casino and Mean Streets and Taxi Driver. You completely utterly shouldn't be rooting for these people, but you do, because he adds such character and such charm to them that you actually do want them to get away with certain things sometimes. And that's the beauty of the anti-heroes. You really do get that sense of, you really do kind of find yourself, condoning what this guy's doing, even though technically you're not actively a part of the proceedings, because you're just dancing to the music and you're feeling the euphoria of the piece. But that was done intentionally, because Bobby Darin deliberately made it so that you could literally find it so infectiously good to dance to, that when you find out the subtext of the song, the actual depths in between, it literally knocks you for six. Like, I literally had my mouth open when I was hearing all these lyrics. Like, it's actually quite sinister. But that's the brilliance of this piece. And it was recorded in 1958 at Fulton Studios, New York City. And it's traditional pop jazz. And I love the fact that they included jazz, because I'm a huge fan of jazz and all those sorts of things. And I think this is brilliant. And this was before Somewhere Beyond the Sea. And I really do think it's one of his masterpieces, really is. I mean, the fact that it's had so many different versions and it's been parodied so many times. I mean, even McDonald's used it to create a mascot called Mack the Knight, which is cool, which is basically a guy with shades, and he's a moon, essentially, like a crescent moon, a half crescent moon, you know, playing on a piano saying, I'm Mack the Knight, and things like that. So he has inspired a great many other things. It's all because of this German opera that he heard about, and that's something that's really quite wonderful. So that's great. And I want to know from you guys in the comments, what's your favourite old-timey song that has a darker subtext to it that you didn't know about the first time around? I want to hear your suggestions and your thoughts in the comments. And I want to do more stuff like this. I actually do want to talk about stuff that I know about and that I feel about. That's what I wanted to do with Musical Mondays. I wanted to just talk about musical films, but I can actually talk about, you know, musical icons like Kate Bush, for example. I did a very famous cringeworthy singing of trying to summarize the Avatar plot by using the the song by Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights, and I don't know if I did a good job on that one. I have to, you know, really kind of see if that's actually well. Apparently everyone liked it. Even my cousin, who's a huge Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, just really loved it and thought it was actually a really great way of, you know, summing up the story in a very in a much more inventive way and putting my personality forward. And I like that. I like the fact that I was in a very musical mood. So yeah, let me know what you think about that particular idea, and let me know what your favourite old-timey songs that have much darker connotations or a darker subtext is for you. I know a lot of people kind of say that I'm a huge fan of The Weeknd, a singer who basically uses pop and R&B and all these other great, you know, genres of music and kind of gels them into these great, you know, interesting songs like Blinding Light and Heartless and all these other great songs, and Hills, which is another great song. I'm a huge fan of his. He's very creative. He's kind of like in the same vein as Kate Bush, who uses these songs to kind of tell these very interesting and fascinating stories and really gives you an insight into this very kind of interesting character. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm going to leave it there. This has been Josh with Whimsical and Interesting Musings, bringing you whimsical and interesting musings every day, all year round. And have a great day. Bye-bye for now.